right, so the first thing I do is I mark one of these lines here on the cylinder between the two slots as my starting point. And so this is needle number 1, and then the empty slot here would be needle number 132. And I always try and start my projects on needle number 1 or the 3 o'clock position, so that I always do that and start everything in the same way, and it gets to be a habit. So the first thing is we've got it every other needle in to start the hat. And I'm gonna hang the bonnet starting on needle number 1. Making sure your latches are open afterwards. You can actually hang it every other needle, but I just like to put it on all of them. Yeah, over here I gotta move the darker a little bit for these needles up. And then I have to attach, now thread my project yarn into the machine. Then I have to hold down on the bonnet and my waist yarn, I guess, and start knitting around. Then I can continue hanging the bonnet on the rest of the needles. Hang my weight from the bonnet so I can and since I'm not sure if I really have enough to go around another time, I'm going to stop and find a scissors, which you should have with me. I usually do quite a few rows of waste yarn because I reuse it. So I'm going to pull that into the inside of needle number 1, probably 31. Put a little weight on there because the first 2 rounds, I'm going to start my project yarn. And leave a fair amount to start with, so that when I cinch up the stitches I have enough to work with. I'm going to anchor that stitch, and then I'm going to just a little weight for the first 2 rows, so I'm put my weight on my heel spring. And I'd reset my row counter, and so I'm going to do 2 rows with every other needle in, and that so when I cinch it up I don't have as many stitches to pick up. And now I'm going to start putting my other needles in. And actually that doesn't go there. Goes here, and I'm picking up this purl bump right here. And I'm going to transfer it so that needle has a stitch. Otherwise, if you don't transfer something to it, there would be a hole where these needles are being put in. And we're going to try and knit the whole hat, so this may take a little bit of time here because installing all the needles, the rest of the needles. And I usually do one at a time because otherwise if I put too many in, if I forget to do one, it's when I knit back over here to 1 o'clock, or the 3 o'clock position, I'm going to take my heel spring off. So it's just doesn't have any extra weight on it. All the heel spring did is it kind of tightens up those stitches a little bit. So when you're cinching them together, they're not as, they're just a little tighter. It's not a lot of weight on there. And I'm just using the stem weight from one of my circular sock knitting machines, hanging on the bonnet. Just checking the latches to make sure that they're hopefully still all open. Okay, so I have all my needles back in, heel springs off. So we're gonna, this was some yarn from Hobby and it was 459 yards. It's a fingering weight yarn. So I'll probably do maybe just like 210 rows. So we're just gonna try and quickly knit that so we can show you how I finish off the hat. And so it might be a little noisy here while we're cranking. Well, I don't have 100 rows on here yet, and it's taking quite a bit of yarn, and I need to put my buckle on because my weight was just about to the floor. So we actually will see how many rows we do get out of this. Well, we're gonna get about just about 200, so I'm gonna stop down in front at about 6 o'clock or so, and then we're gonna come back over here and start at our 3 o'clock position. So needle number 1 is gonna stay a cylinder needle. So now I'm gonna take the stitch off of every other needle and transfer it to the next needle. Take it out. Usually when I'm using them from like a skein of yarn or whatever the object is, to maybe try and use the majority of the skein up so you don't have leftovers. then you have one that decides that it's going to run off on you. It's easy to catch your like sweatshirts or sleeves in the other needles. So I'm gonna get back over here by needle number 1. I'm gonna put my heel spring back on. I'm gonna start knitting around. Okay, so now I got all my stitches transferred. I'm gonna bring my buckle back up here a ways because it'll be on the floor otherwise when I get the waste yarn back on here. So I'm gonna knit 2 more rows. I'm gonna stop again at when needle number 131 closed, and I'm gonna cut my yarn, project yarn, and pull it to the inside, and then I'm going to grab my contrasting waste yarn. So I'm actually set up to, if I wanted to knit another hat, and what I've been doing is adding another color of waste yarn to start. I would start the next hat with, because then I could separate the 2 colors of waste yarn if I'm making like a hat snake and want to take some of them off. But for this purpose, we're not going to do that. So crank off the hat. And this is what it looks like.